Good morning, Margaret and Stella. Welcome everybody to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe on this Saturday morning. What is it, January 21st? It's unusual for me to be here on a Saturday morning, although you might see me here a little bit more often over the next 2 months. Once again, I'm taking a blogging intensive course. I took it before, but the first time around, I was just trying to kind of absorb. I'm not a techie, so I was really just kind of trying to listen and absorb some of the language, the technology language, get a better understanding of blogs and websites and what all they can do in a business. And now that I have my blog moved from TypePad to WordPress, and the class mainly uses WordPress. I mean, it can be, what you learn in the class can be applied to any blog, but it's helpful for me to now have my blog on WordPress. But anyways, I'm taking the class for a second time around. I'm understanding it so much more, and working on some more content for my website, blog, and that's actually how I'm spending the rest of my day. But anyways, we meet online about 3 times a week, one for mindset, one for Q&A from the previous week's training, and then Fridays is the big training day. And yesterday went very long. Usually they're about an hour and a half. Yesterday was 2.5 hours. So depending on the length, and I don't know until that Friday how it will go, depending on the length of that blogging intensive class that day, I may push back my Friday afternoon Facebook Live. So thank you for accommodating me on this Saturday morning instead of Friday. I'm happy to be here, and every once in a while when I do get on a Saturday, I have people comment and tell me thank you, because most of us do our lives during the week, and people who work during the week have a harder time catching the lives, or they're always watching the replays. So if you're one of those people out there, shout out to you on this Saturday morning for joining me. On Wednesday evening's Facebook Live, that would have been January 18th, I showed 2 cards made 2 different ways with the watercolor world. This is one of those stamp sets that you could really consider a background stamp, but I did make it the focal point of these 2 cards. On the first one, we did some simple stamping, and then I added a sentiment from the Lovely Labels stamp set, and I used one of our newest punches, the Happy Label punch, to cut that out. And then I showed another way to use that watercolor world stamp. On this one, I did my blending and stamping on watercolor paper, and then I did some spritzing to kind of let that that ink run a bit and give it more of a muted, less formal image, or less exact image than the first card, as you can see. So both great fun, and I hope you will take a look at that video from January 18th here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe, and perhaps give those techniques a try, whether it be with the watercolor world stamp or some other stamps you may have. We did also talk in there about some ideas of different ways or different reasons we would use the watercolor world stamp. For example, I miss you, somebody's moving away, somebody lives very long distance, somebody who's traveling. That would be great to make a travel journal as a gift for somebody. So lots of different uses. I think the world of you, that would be a great sentiment to put with that stamp. So please check that out. Tomorrow I will be announcing a new class to go, so look for that email. And now it's time for us to do some creating. Today I'm sharing with you some Valentine treats that are cute but very simple and very inexpensive for you to make. So let me move my camera now to my workspace, and while I'm doing that, please share this live video and invite others to join us on this Saturday morning, January 21st. Oh, I should mention that the winner of the 2 cards made in Wednesday night's Facebook Live are Carrie Byrne and Christine Laird. And Christine was watching all the way from Australia. So if you 2 ladies are watching, I sent you, I tagged you and asked you to email me your mailing address so I can get those cards off to you. I like to give cards away. Brings me joy to make them, brings me joy to send them, but it also brings me joy to give them away. And okay, before we make today's projects, I've got to tell you some news. Well, first of all, look how cute this is. I found this at Hobby Lobby. I've been looking for a small, like little metal shopping cart, but I'm cheap and if I see it and the price isn't right, I'm not buying it. But I found this at Hobby Lobby when I was there with Andrea the other day and got it for like $4. I'm not sure what I'm putting in there, maybe adhesives, but I thought it was just too cute that I needed it for my studio. And I'm gonna let you in on some news, so lean in close. Many of you know that I'm going to be a first-time grandma on July 8th, and we found out this week that the baby is a girl. So the whole family's excited. Yeah, just I had to say that. Thank you. I'm kind of bursting. I can't stop thinking about it. So thank you for letting me share that news with you. Okay, for the first project, and this may be something you've seen before, but I'm going to put a twist on it. I'm using a 6x6 piece of designer series paper, and many of you have seen, we make this cute little, when we were kids, we used to make paper cups and drink water out of it. We thought we were very cool. And some of you may have seen that with chocolates or different candies tucked in, but I'm going to show you how to use it as a treat packaging for this heart sucker. So I'm folding that in, I folded that in half diagonally, scored it very well, and then I'm going to take those 2 opposite corners of the triangle and I'm going to pull them up just so that they're about even, and then this triangle at the top looks pretty even. And then I'm just going to hold it in place and use my bone folder to make some really good creases. Now, okay, so this is when we were kids, this is how we made the cups. We would do this outside, fill it with water from the hose, and drink our water on a hot day. Did anybody do that as a child? I'm probably really dating myself. But hey, talk about good, clean fun, right? And we were creative. So now I just pull back that top triangle and fold that down. Now I like to put, you don't have to, but I do like to put some adhesive on these pieces just to hold them in place. Absolutely not necessary. Because in the end, we'll be attaching something to the front that would likely hold most of that in place. But I just like to do it for an extra little bit of security, okay? Yes, Kathy, try another device. I don't know anything about Androids, so I can't help you with that. All right, so now we have this. Some people call this the diaper fold too. And I got to thinking about that because, of course, Emily and I will host a baby shower for Andrea and John. But maybe I'll do something with that fun for the baby shower. Anyway, so now you've seen, this is the part where people usually stick in a chocolate or something like that. Ghirardelli chocolates work in there, lots of different ones. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to punch a hole near the bottom. This hole's a tiny bit big, but the other one's a tiny bit too small. Then I'm going to tuck the sucker in, and I'm going to flip it around this way so that when they pull it out, they see that Happy Valentine's Day. But I'm just sticking, the hole went through both sides, and that's okay, but I'm just sticking the sucker stick through the front hole and pushing it down. And this is another reason I put the label forward, is because if I had it the other way, charms would be backwards, and I'm a little anal about that kind of thing. Okay, so let's decorate that a little bit. I use the Country Gingham 6x6 DSP for the base of the treat holder. And now I am using, I'm looking for my punch. Now I'm using some of the Country Floral Lane DSP. One thing I love about this bundle, it has a coordinating punch that will cut out the leaves and hearts in the stamp set, but it will also cut out those images from this specific piece of DSP. So I'm going to do that and attach these with some mini dimensionals. On that small heart, I'm actually going to use a mini glue dot. I don't know why I put 2 there instead. I meant to put 3. Thinking ahead. Maybe because it's Saturday morning and I haven't even finished my coffee yet. It's all good. It's all good. Now keep in mind, I could have stamped these hearts and leaves instead of punching them from the DSP. Either way would make for something really cute. I'm just going to add that small petal pink heart on the inside there. And now I want to stamp my greeting. And by the way, the red in this suite, the paper, the DSP in this suite is Sweet Sorbet. It's not real red, but real red coordinates with it nicely. But that's why I've chosen Sweet Sorbet to do my stamping with, because it matches the red of the Country Gingham DSP as well as the Country Floral Lane DSP. Close that up for now. On this, I'm just going to do a simple edge. I'm going to use my paper snips to cut it an angle. That piece I cut off, you've probably seen me show this tip before. I just take the piece I cut off and lay it across the strip of cardstock, put the blade of my paper snips right beside that edge, and then cut the angle. This way, both of my angles on each side match. Just a quick little tip. Easier than trying to do them separately and make them both match. And then I'm just going to add my sentiment right there below that heart flower. And there you go. You could even add a little ribbon or bow right here if you like. All right, super cute, super easy, inexpensive to make, right? Sue, you're right. I am all dressed up. I even put on makeup. This is not my usual Saturday morning. I'm kind of slow in the morning, I have to admit. Okay, for the next, let me get some of these out of the way. Okay, for the next craft, I'll show it to you first. This is what we're doing. And the process, we're making a little envelope. There's a Ghirardelli square inside. You could even use this for little love notes, things like that. But let me show you how to make this. The process is very similar to what we just did. Again, I'm starting with 6x6 DSP and folding it in half and scoring it so I get a nice triangle. Now for this sucker stick treat, I took those points from the bottom of the triangle and pulled them up. This time, instead of doing that, I'm going to pull those points straight across and keep them at the bottom. So you can see what's happening now. It's almost looking like a little envelope, a mini envelope. And I'm just going to score it nicely. I'm going to add some adhesive to hold everything in place. Just a tiny bit will do, you don't need a lot. And then I'm going to pull down one of the triangles at the top and fold that in place. And now I have, using, again, the same size DSP, 6x6, but changing out one part of the procedure, I have something that looks totally different. So I'm going to stick a Ghirardelli square in there. These are left over from Christmas, my peppermint squares. I was going to buy Valentine ones, and sweets are my weakness. Sweets are a huge weakness for me. I think I have a sugar addiction, which is not healthy. So I'm trying to break myself of that somewhat. Somewhat, I say, because I'm not doing real well, especially after the holidays, during the holidays and after. I'm actually doing worse since the holidays are over. I think it's because I have that leftover stuff in the house and I need to give that away. All right, so I went ahead and stamped 2 of the open hearts from the Country Bouquet stamp set. And I'm also going to stamp one of the sentiments. I love that we are friends. And I'm going to stamp this on a piece of basic white cardstock. This I will punch out with our Label Me Fancy punch. This punch is so handy. It's one of my go-tos for sure for small sentiments. It's the Fancy Label punch. And then I will use my Country Bouquet punch, builder punch, to punch out these open hearts. And now I'll add all of these pieces. I'm intentionally only putting 2 on one of the hearts there. And this I'm going to just use my regular adhesive. I'm going to put this right here. The reason I only put 2 mini dimensionals on the second heart is because it's going to be overlapping the first. Okay. Oh, Sue, don't even say it. Easter treats. I've already seen them in the store. I mean, hello, it's January. And I think I'm going to go over that white piece just a bit. So this is why it's overlapping. So that's why I did not put a dimensional on that part of the heart, the second heart. Actually, I want to move this one up a little bit. I feel like it's a little too low. I want a little more balanced looking. And then I'm going to add some of these pastel sequins. I love them. Remember why? Because these sequins don't have holes in them. Is there anybody else like that? You don't like holes in your sequins? I think when I see holes in sequins, I feel like the sequin should be sewn on. So 1 large, and I'm going to put a small balmy blue sequins in each of the 2 hearts. And there we go. Something you can drop on a coworker's desk. If your kids or grandkids are able to take Valentine treats to school, you could do something like that, and they can even help you with it. Okay. Kathleen, a sock hop. That sounds fun. You need to take some pictures for us. Okay, and I have one more quick and easy Valentine treat for you. This time I'm using 2 of the Ghirardelli squares, or 3, I'm sorry, 3 of the Ghirardelli squares, but you can use any kind of candy bars you like, large or small, and just adjust the size of your strips. For these, I made strips that are 2 inches by 4.5 inches. And this is where you can mix and match. If you want all of them to be the same, make them the same. If you want the one in the middle to be different, would a gift card fit in that? Lori, it would be sticking out. Yes, it would fit in terms of the width, but it would be sticking out just a little bit, okay? All right, so when I do this, I have the front of my strip facing down. I pull over the bottom of the strip and then the top. And I just kind of use my fingers to make a crease at the corners. And then what I do is put some adhesive on the inside bottom. And then I go over that, go over that small flap at the top, just matching up the sides. And then that kind of hides that seam by putting it at an edge or a corner. Great for preschoolers. Awesome. Debbie, I'm so happy to hear that. And aren't preschoolers wonderful? I don't know. There is just something so cute and so fun. And kids of all ages are fun. I enjoyed my kids at every age. But yeah, I can really connect with preschoolers. Maybe that's something more about my personality. I'm like kid at heart, you know, but preschoolers are so much fun. I think, you know, just because they get excited about so much and they're learning so much so quickly. Of course, nowadays kids just amaze me. Even high schoolers. High schoolers are learning things as freshmen in high school that I learned as a senior, or maybe starting in college. Kids grow up fast nowadays and are learning so much. And I know some of you are saying, Mary, why are you covering that up? Just because I wanted to show you, sometimes it's nice to mix in more of a subtle pattern with some of the bolds. That's the fun thing about this, and all of our DSPs, really. They're just super fun to mix and match, whether you're making cards or treats like I am today. And scrapbook pages. They are awesome for scrapbook pages. I was thinking this morning, I haven't done a scrapbook layout for a Facebook Live in quite a while. So I may do that on one day next week. All right, once you have that, just decide what arrangement you want them in. Yes, they know how to use computers in kindergarten. Isn't it something? And I'm still so intimidated. Thus, the reason I'm taking that blogging intensive. Trying to learn as much as I can, not just about content, but the workings of websites and such. I'm always trying to learn and better my best. It may take me a little longer than some, but I'm doing it, and I'm proud of myself. Here, I'm going to go the other way. And I'm simply going to tie a bow at the top here. Oops, losing it a little bit. If you didn't want to do ribbon and tie a ribbon and bow, you could make a belly band to go around your stack of chocolates. You could make it from cardstock, or you could make it from DSP. Tanya, you know, I think just about every scrapbooker I know is behind. I'm going to a scrapbook weekend next week, Friday through Sunday, and I'm excited. Some of you know that I host my own creative escape weekends, but it's for 60 people. I am busy all the time doing business, making sure everybody's happy, has what they need, that sort of thing. So I really don't get any of my own projects done. So this is one I'm going to be working on pictures from John and Andrea's wedding. And then I had this idea, so maybe we could do this together. I had this idea that I could do like a scrapbook layout for every month, every holiday for the new grandbaby's first year. What do you think? And even if it's not for a baby's first year, it could be something for your family, kind of like a scrapbook in a year. We do a layout or two each month. So think about that if you'd be interested. And if you are interested, tell me so, because I want to know what you all like to do. But anyways, here is the last one. I could, again, put this out if I maybe have lunch with friends. Everybody gets one. Co-workers desk, students, college students would love these. Sometimes I've sent treats to my daughters when they were in college, and then my nieces also when they were in college, not just for them, but for them and their roommates or friends. Love it. Those college students love it as much as the preschoolers will. Okay. The other thing is if you're having a Valentine's Day event with girlfriends, and it doesn't have to be all single women, but just your girlfriends getting together, to celebrate your friendship and love for one another. And you could add little sentiments like with love or I love you. I love that we are friends. Happy Valentine's Day. Any of those would work. Just stamp a tag and stick it on there. Or you could stamp some little hearts. Anything at all. Okay. Oh, you guys like the idea of the scrapbooking. Okay. That is good to know because it's been floating around in my head for a while. All right. So there are today's Valentine treat projects. What do you think? What do you think? And would you give these a try? Now, keep in mind, you can do this for any holiday or any special occasion. You might want to do some of these things like for a graduation this spring in the school colors. You could do these in green and put shamrocks on for St. Patrick's Day. You could put a little bunny or Easter egg on these for Easter. Birthday parties, yes. Punch some little balloons or party hats. Use the party colors, and of course, baby showers. Last year I was thinking bridal shower and wedding. This year I'm thinking baby shower. So lots of different reasons for you to use things like this. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to spend pretty much the rest of my day working on my blogging intensive class. I've got a lot of content I want to write and work on. And gosh, it's hard for me to send treats like this through the mail, but how about going to keep these measurements and pics in my notebook for sure. Tanya, awesome. And don't forget, I will add these as a blog post probably by early next week. I'm thinking Monday. But then I will have all of the dimensions. The video will be there, photos of each of the projects individually, and of course, all of the Stampin' Up! Products used to make them. But like I said, I'm not able to send these through the mail easily. But how about I send a sampling of the Country Floral Lane DSP to 2 people. And what that will be is I will cut a 4x6 piece of each of the DSPs from Country Floral Lane and, yes, Country Floral Lane. Is that the name? Right, I had that right. Okay, so if you would like to, let's not do that. Let's do Country Floral Lane because that's the suite, or Gingham. I guess you can type both, or you can type the one that's your favorite. Country Floral Lane DSP or Country Gingham DSP. I like that they both work so well together. If you're just joining me now, I'm sorry, but we are just about finished. I hope that you will go back and watch the replay. And of course, it will be on my blog probably by Monday, with all the cutting dimensions and all the information you need to make these. So have a good weekend. I'm now going to finish my coffee that I started, and then I'm going to get to work on my blogging intensive class. Have a great week. I look forward, or weekend, have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks and happy stamping.